You know who it is. It's your man, John Mike from down here at Gospel Producers. And today I am really ecstatic to reveal to you something that we have been working on for several months now. And that is Peculiar Sounds V2, boys and girls. So we have been working on this long and hard, and I am excited to show it to you today. So we're going to be doing a walkthrough of this plugin, showing you all of the new things that we have added to it, all of the new features, and some really exciting things that we have added to this version. One of the dopest features that we added to Peculiar Sounds V2 is standalone mode, boys and girls. This plugin now works without a DAW, which means it lives down here in your dock. You don't have to have Logic, you don't have to have Mainstage or Pro Tools or any of that. You can run this standalone, straight on your Mac, straight on your PC as an app all by itself, which means now you can use it in a live performance setting. You can use it out gigging at church, any of those places like that. You can just pull it up, connect your MIDI controller, and start playing Peculiar Sounds at any given place, any given time, without having to open up a DAW. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's dig in and let me show you around Peculiar Sounds V2 and some of the new features that we've added and all of those good things like that. So the same interface for the most part, as you can see, but we've added a few really dope things. So we have the envelopes where you have control over your attack, decay, sustain, and release for both layers. Speaking of layers, we have layers. We're going to talk about that in more detail as we continue to go through this. We have an updated preset browser that gives you the name of the patch that you're on, just kind of shows you up there. We also have preset tags. We're going to talk about that as well a little bit later. We even added in our little, waveform view that we have in all of our plugins. Now we just decided to add that to Peculiar Sounds and what have you. Beyond that, you have and previous buttons that you can kind of go through your presets and stuff as well using those buttons. And then we have a couple of new pages that we added, which I'm going to talk about those in a minute, but we have our pitch bin and mod wheel right here, which is really cool. I like that because it really adds to the aesthetic of it being like a vintage synth, and that's what we kind of go for with Peculiar Sounds, to make it look and feel like hardware, you know what I'm saying? Before we get into the pages, I want to talk about this, which is our layer control over here. We put this on the front to give you immediate access to some simple parameters with the layers, which is like changing the layers, changing the sound. You can dig through here and change any layer, layer 1, layer 2, to whatever sound. You can also arm that layer or disarm that layer, and you can control the volume on said layer. And then if you need to get back to 0, you can literally just double click the fader and it'll go back to 0. So that gives you some immediate control over the layers on the front page where you don't really have to do anything, right? So that's pretty much the new homepage layout of Peculiar Sounds, but we've added in a couple of really cool things that I think you guys are gonna really love, which is first the MIDI browser, which is really cool, and we're gonna dig into that really later into this video, but I think you guys are gonna love it. But it's hundreds of MIDI files that are ready at your fingertips. These are chords, melodies, bass lines, drum loops, all at your fingertips. You can literally just click on whatever vibe and whatever thing and be able to load up a MIDI file. So the last part that I'll show you is the layer mixer, boys and girls. Just looking at it, it looks absolutely amazing and really dope. But we have the layer mixer. We have our effects section. It's like the low-fizer. We'll talk about that later. We added some more effects to our limiter, and we got like our mod effects and our filter mod, which is something that's really new that we're going to talk about. And we added in an arpeggiator. So this is really dope, and we're going to talk about that later as well. So that is pretty much like everything that's kind of new. We got the settings menu here that has like all of the settings. If you're in standalone mode, you'll see your audio settings and your MIDI sources right here. You can get your updates. You can do all of those things right here inside of the plugin. Last but not least, we have my favorite feature. And it is called dark mode. Right up here, you see this little thing that says classic. If I click this, Anyway, let me click it again because I don't think y'all saw it. It's happening too fast. Dark mode. Everything goes dark, boys and girls. The MIDI player gets dark. The layer mixer follows that as well. Dark mode is just sexy. I'm sorry. You know how it is when, when you bought, like, when you had the Motif ES8 and then you bought the XF. Be honest. Most of y'all bought the XF because it was black. Y'all bought the XF because it's black. Y'all didn't buy it because it was such new and revolutionary technology. You bought it because it was dark. It was darker than the ES, and people knew that you was running the new Motif because it was a different color. This changes the game, in my opinion, because it just looks sexy. But it also, when you're performing live and you're on a dark stage or you're on a light stage or whatever, a lot of light in your face, dark mode kind of helps to give you a different aesthetic, you know what I mean, for the plugin. And plus, just at the end of the day, it just looks cool. I ain't even gonna hold you. So that's pretty much everything that is new inside of Peculiar Sounds V2. Okay, so now I want to talk about one of the most important parts of Peculiar Sounds V2, and that is the layer mixer. So if you bring this up, you'll see that we have this really, really dope aesthetic on how you can control and manipulate the layers inside of Peculiar Sounds. Now, by default, you have access to 2 layers, so you can layer any 2 sounds together to be able to create as many combinations as you need. And I'm going to show you how to really get in here and get down and dirty with them. So we're going to go through this left to right to kind of show you where everything is and what everything does. So you have here the volume, of course, right here on each layer. You can easily kind of manipulate that. You have your panning, you have your width. Maybe you want to make that layer sound like it's a pad or strings. You want to make it wider than the bottom sound. There's an option there with pan and width. And then you have your FX send, where you can literally control how much goes into verb and delay. This is where you control that at, and then you can turn the layer on and off just by clicking this. Right here is the glide, right? So you can easily add glide to any sound. Now, this is one of our most requested features, was to give people control over the glide. So now you can turn on glide on any sound. Like if you want to make this piano glide. So if I grab like Sine Synth or something like that. And then you control how much glide you get. Maybe you don't want that much glide. Maybe just this. Or maybe you want it to be like really extreme. Which could be great for like effects or like transitions or things like that. So under that, you'll find the MIDI channel, and under here, you'll be able to change the MIDI channel of any layer, which is going to be really important later. I'm going to show you some stuff that's really, really cool and how you can use it to like split and use multiple keyboards. Over here, you have your high pass and low pass filter. So if you want to thin the sound out or make it darker, easily do that right here. Over here you have again the sound browser, where you can go through the sounds and be able to choose which sound you want on the layer. You have legato mode, which works for when you put it in poly or mono. So if I make this a lead, for instance, say I want to make this a lead, that turns up, right? But I want to control how much legato is there. If I want it to be really wormy, so to speak, then I can. So the more legato we have, the more wormy it feels, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean? All the way down, if I take it to 0, it's gonna feel like just a regular mono source. Like no glide, right? So that's pretty much what you would use that for, just to kind of control how much glide is on your mono source, right? Under that, you have your splitting and zoning, and we're gonna cover that in another video a little bit later on to show you how to split and zone your sounds across the keyboard, which is really, really cool. And then over here, we have the transpose for only you people that love the transpose. I'm just messing with you. I'm gonna let y'all argue about that down in the comments, section. I don't have no qualm with people that love to transpose or whatever, but I didn't put it in here for that. I put it in here actually for little stuff like this that you see, to where you can control the octaves of something, right? So for instance, with this particular piano sound that I have, loaded up, if I have a piano down here, but you can hear that the sine synth is an octave higher than the regular piano. So now I get this feel, and I can kind of blend it a little bit better to create a better sound, but and it opens up a lot of possibilities for sound design that we'll be exploring over the coming, weeks and months, as we really do a lot of tutorials on Peculiar. So that is what the transpose is for. And under that, you will find access to all of the new effects and the old effects inside of Peculiar Sound. So you have the master section, which covers like the standard stuff we had in V1, like the saturator, the 3-band EQ, our limiter, and this new effect that we just added, which is called the low-fizer. And we will dig into that a little bit later on in this video, in this tutorial. You guys are gonna love that. But here's your send effects, which is like your reverbs and your delays, which is controlled by that knob I was showing you a little bit earlier. You can control how much, goes into it. It's like a parallel send or an aux bus, if you will, inside of Peculiar Sounds, that you can send your verbs and your delays to and control, really control the level of that. Down here you have the mod effects, which is our traditional effects that we had in Peculiar Sounds, our tremolo and our chorus and phaser, but this new effect that we have called the filter mod, which we're also going to dig into in detail a little bit later. All right. Other than that, up here you have the ability to control how much modulation on the mod wheel, and how much pitch bend amount that you get, all right here, because that was a user requested feature. So that's really, really cool. Something that you can really kind of tap into with that. And then lastly, here we have the arpeggiator, boys and girls, which is really, really dope. You can arpeggiate 2 layers. You can arpeggiate both of them, or you can choose to have one layer arpeggiate and another one be a foundation. Opens up some really dope sonic abilities that I'm really excited to show you guys a little bit later on. So that's pretty much the layer mixer in general and all the things you're gonna do. So we're gonna continue digging down into this, and I'm gonna show you guys all of the different other features, and we're gonna dig into some of these modules and some of this stuff one by one.
We'll call this one G-Synth Mute. Saw.
Mild, soft.
Like saw brass. I'm gonna call this one Herbie Love, because it sounds like a Herbie lead. Ground round. This is called ground round. Had the wow.
The round,
Yeah.
ground round. But
Yeah.
you named after the restaurant though.
Yeah.
Why did it make you think about the restaurant?
Because the round, and then,
What they serve at Ground Round?
oh, they serve everything. A lot of people think layering is just mashing 2 sounds together and playing those two sounds at once.
Yeah.
But to make the layering thicker, I replay the same chords separately. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then what makes it unique is there might be a note that I didn't play in the rows that's in the pad, in the strings. They all playing pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because I'm actually playing each sound versus one at once.
Yeah. Instead of laying them together, you're playing the same patterns.
So I think in making the layers, there has to be some uniqueness to each sound if we're going to do a layer that's playing all at the same time. So I just told y'all Doobie Power secret. That's what makes it seem like it's so much happening.
Yeah.
Because now I'm playing a chord over here that I'm playing over here, but I might have added 2 or 3 different other notes, which make it seem like something else is happening. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you add something in the center that's playing the same thing, but it's like a slight difference. I keep driving it home with other layers. So if there was a way to do more than one layer on a, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. On a patch versus just rows and.
Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is updates to our preset browser. We have made several new enhancements to it to help you kind of browse around and get to your sounds really, really quickly and really, really easy. Let's check it out. So first off, you'll see that we added in the name really, really big inside of the preset browser. So you'll have like, you know, whatever patch you're on kind of show up here in big names. Helps you kind of read it a little better so you're not having to really squinch in and see what patch you're on or whatever, because that text is a little small. So we kind of thought we'd help it by bringing it, you know, a little bit bigger inside of the preset browser and stuff like that. So kind of helps with that or what have you. Now, if you're in standalone mode, you'll see tempo right here. If you're in the plugin mode, you won't see this. This is strictly so you can access tempo information inside of the standalone version. But here you have your favorites, right? Where you can literally just click here and bring up some of the ones that you've hit the star for. Now that was in V1. We haven't really made any enhancements to it, but I just wanted to highlight it because it's one of the lesser known features of Peculiar Sounds. Just being able to favorite and kind of create, sort of speak, a set list of sounds. That's kind of the way that I would use it. You know, I would just kind of favorite some of the stuff that I want for my live set. And then when I hit the favorites button, all I see in this browser are the sounds that I'm going to be using for that particular set or that particular, you know, performance or whatever the case may be. And then if you're using it in the DAW, just to mark your favorite sounds so you can just get to them quickly. All right. Next is search, which this was also in V1, but I don't think we really talked about it enough. So you can literally just type in like glide, for instance, and it'll pull up anything that has the name glide in the name or whatever the case may be. Maybe you want to see like the doobie patches. So I can type in doobie and it'll pop up anything that's got doobie's name on it. And that's a way that you can kind of get around your sounds really, really quickly. So one of the best new features that we added into our preset browser is tags. So you can see here that we've given you guys a couple of tags to kind of help you get around. So say you're looking for something that's simple, right? You can click on simple and you want it to glide. You can hit glide. So now you have something that's simple and glide. So like maybe you want to find something like singing signs, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or maybe you don't want simple glides, you want a complex glide. So then you grab something like Reunion Square. You know what I'm saying? So that helps you kind of get around. And then you can always like edit and add stuff to tags if you want to. Like if you just want to find like the 2.0 new sounds, you can click that and it'll show you everything that's tagged in the new sounds, like OPAD, one of my favorite ones. Lastly, but not least, we also added the ability to save your presets, and you can click this and you can easily, once you tweak something or add something, you can easily go in here and save it in whatever subfolder you want. But we also included a user bank folder where you can save some of your favorite presets right in there. So that is how you get around the preset browser in Peculiar Sounds V2. Since its inception, you've asked us for enhancements, and today we're taking it to the next level. And I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2. So in this section, I want to show you guys how you can utilize splits and zoning inside Peculiar Sounds V2. Let's jump into it. So I have this patch called Aux Dream. I really love it. So really, really dope patch. I have like a brassy sound down here, synth brass. Then I have like a sting lead up here. And then the crossing point is like right here at this F, like F2. You know, and then this is in poly. And this is in mono. Really, really dope. Let me show you how we did it. So if we go inside the layer mixer here, you'll see that the split and zone are active. You could turn them on and off easily just by clicking the green light, red light, green light, go, right? You can turn those on and off with the split and zone, but to really kind of expand upon it and get deep into it, you hit the actual button and it opens up this window that gives you the split and zone options, right? So say if I want to move this bottom sound up to like C3 instead of F2, right? Then I would easily just go here and just move it up to C3. So now it stops here at this last B at B2, and then the other split can start at C3, right? So we would do the same thing here on this zone. We just take the bottom and we move it up to C3, right? This is another reason why it's good to have the transpose button here. So maybe we need more lower end in there, so I can bring this down to 0, right? So now I got a lower end. Maybe I want to run a bass down here or whatever. Or maybe I need more room to chord down here, so I can go all the way to 24. See what I'm saying? So that's a way that you can kind of really dig in and kind of mess around with that. But it just opens up so many different sonic possibilities. Like another patch that I really love in here is called Woo Plus the Only One, right? And just like that, splitting and zoning is really, really dope because it allows you to take one keyboard and kind of turn it into two just by moving things around and zoning. And that's another dope feature that you can utilize inside Peculiar Sounds V2. And it works really, really good, especially in stereo. So here's something I want to show you guys in this section I think is really, really cool, and that is utilizing the layer mixer and the MIDI browser and utilizing multiple MIDI channels all in kind of one kind of shebang. So what I'm going to do is I got my Rhodes put here on this and it's running on channel 2, right? So if we look here in the mixer, you'll see that I put the Rhodes on channel 2, but on channel 1, I put Doobie's drum kit here, right? So that's the drums. So that means I can go to the MIDI browser and I can pull up any of the drum grooves that work with Doobie's Kit 1, you know what I'm saying? And be able to play them. So maybe I pull a groove like this. You know what I'm saying? And then I got my keys up here. And this could work with any keyboard. Maybe if I put this one on 1, it was quicker for me to put this one on like 2 than to change this one. But let's just say I got that set up like that. I could easily just now play this. So that's just a really, really quick kind of crazy example of how fast you could kind of set up something and do all of these things in one plugin. I think that's really, really cool and game changing because now you could pull up to a gig, you can pull up to church, you have your loops loaded in there. We included like a few dozen like loops inside of V2 that you can kind of tap in and use. And so you could easily kind of set up a scenario like that. It's just a couple of little workarounds. You just have to change the MIDI channels around and kind of make sure that everything's kind of locked and loaded. But it's definitely a really dope way that you can kind of jump in and run a loop and sounds all from one plugin without a DAW. That's kind of crazy, right? So in this section, what we want to talk about is something really, really dope, and that is how you can utilize multiple MIDI controllers with Peculiar Sounds V2. So let's dig into it. So as you can see here, I have a couple of MIDI controllers. I have my Kawai VPC-1 and I have my Lumi Keys Studio here on top. So I'm going to try something really, really simple and really, really easy. We're going to put a piano down here on mains, and then on this top board, we're going to put a lead sound so we can just kind of do that sort of thing, right? So in order to make this happen, you want to do a couple of things. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this MIDI controller is on channel 2. And this is going to vary depending on what type of MIDI controller you have. With this particular controller, I have to go into my dashboard and change the MIDI channel on here to make sure that this board is only sending on MIDI channel 2. That's very important. And I can put it on any channel. It could be 6, it can be up to 16, just whatever, as long as it's not on MIDI channel 1, right? So now that it's not on MIDI channel 1, this is sending only on MIDI channel 2. And if you're using the standalone version, you definitely want to make sure that you have this connected inside of your settings. Just make sure the box is ticked under that MIDI source, right? So once you've done that, then the rest of it is really easy. You're just going to go into the layer mixer, right? And we're going to turn on layer 2 and go up here, and we're going to find a lead. One of my favorite leads is this lead called the Only One lead, right? That's in there. And so right now they are blended, right? And so what we're going to do is simply take the MIDI channel on the Only One lead and put it on 2. And now up here, now I have that here, And, you know, just for some fun, let's just go ahead and add some verb and some delay to this. So now we have a pretty simple situation with a piano and a lead. And maybe to make this lead feel a little bit more better, let's turn on mono and poly. So you can work this situation out pretty much any way you want to do it. Maybe you want to put like a key bass down here. So if we're going to do that, we'll go here. Let's turn the verb and stuff off real quickly. And then let's just go over here and find a bass, like Fat Funk bass, for example. So. So just that quickly and easily inside of Peculiar Sounds V2, you can create and use multiple MIDI. So in this section, I want to talk about one of our best new features, which is the MIDI browser, boys and girls. So if I click here on MIDI browser, it pulls up our MIDI player and you'll find in here hundreds of drum grooves and chord progressions and stuff played by Doobie, glide chords, all kind of stuff. If you buy Peculiar Sounds version 2, you get with it our Gospel Keys Vibes pack. You get our Doobie Powell pack. You also get our Peculiar Sounds chords pack, all included, and a bunch more that's going to be really, really dope. So that all comes free with Peculiar Sounds. We're going to be adding a ton more MIDI files to this because this is just something that nobody's really doing with these type of plugins. Imagine having Omnisphere and being able to get MIDI files with Omnisphere built into it. They don't have it, but we have it in ours. So here you have it, being able to do this. So it's really, really cool. So in the MIDI browser, it's set up pretty simple. You hit the play button. And it'll just loop, you know, around, and you can click on any other groove or vibe. Like if I click on this, and then I can click on another one and then just start playing that. And as you can see, there's a lot of information. You get the BPM, you get the time signature, you get the number of bars, the key, what it kind of set up for, chords, melody, whatever the case may be that it kind of covers, drums. It's all laid out for you intuitively. But you can also search the MIDI browser just by typing in like anything. Like say if I want Doobie, if I start typing in Doobie, I start getting all the Doobie vibes. Maybe I want something R and B. Then it gives me something R&B, and I can just literally click on like this 90s R&B vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. Or maybe I want to search something specific in any of the rows, maybe like a BPM, like 90. And it'll pull up anything that is 90 BPM or has 90s in the name, or maybe a specific key like E flat. You know what I'm saying? Now I get everything that's in E flat. You know what I mean? Or if I want to search something that could be used with a glide pad, then I type in glide. So anything that is glide tags can be used and can be searched and found in that way. So another dope feature of the MIDI browser is being able to change the octave or the key of a MIDI file. So for instance, if I play this one, say I want to bring this down an octave, I can literally just click this. Or I can bring it up an octave. All options. Or if I want to change the key. Or bring it down lower. So because it's MIDI and because it's that, I can put it in any key that I want. If I want to go back to the original key, I just double click and it goes back to original. So I think that's super duper dope. And that's a great feature of the MIDI browser. Last but not least is probably the most important function of the MIDI browser, and that is drag and drop MIDI. So if you go up here into the transport area and you just click and grab this MIDI file, you can easily drag it straight into your DAW for more editing and tweaking inside of the piano roll and being able to manipulate it in more detail. So that, boys and girls, is the MIDI browser, one of the best features inside of Peculiar Sounds V2. Since its inception, you've asked us for enhancements, and today we're taking it to the next level. And I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2. Since its inception, you've asked us for enhancements, and today we're taking it to the next level. And I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2.
Whatever you want to do, it's all up to you.
Since its inception, you've asked us for enhancements, and today we're taking it to the next level. And I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2.
Yo, what up, man?
Doobie, what it do, bro? Chilling, man. You good?
I'm just sitting here chilling, man.
Yeah, man. So I was just hitting you up, dog, because I had a couple of things that I wanted to run by you real quick. So I think it's time for us to do an update to Peculiar Sounds.
Word, let's go.
Yeah, man, it's about time, bro. It's been a couple of years, man. We did this in like 22.
Word.
So it's time to update.
Man, what you thinking?
I'm thinking of a couple of things. I think it's about time that we add in a few big features that they've been asking for.
Yeah, simple. So, I mean, like, where you trying to go with it?
Man, I don't know. I think we should add in. Today, I want to talk about something that has been very influential to our company and our community. I'm excited to reveal something amazing and game-changing for us and for you as producers and musicians. Over the years, we've done many things, created masterclasses, loop packs, templates, and more. But our venture into plugins truly changed the game. Plugins like Pro Drums, Juice, Guide Track, and Loop Track have all been very impactful, but none more so than Peculiar Sounds. 2 years ago, we teamed up with the legendary Doobie Powell to encapsulate his iconic sounds into a revolutionary plugin. We had no idea that it would impact the community as it did. From the moment we launched it in 2022, the feedback was incredible. We've received amazing feedback from both seasoned professionals, producers, musicians, and even regular bedroom producers. They've shared their experiences and praised Peculiar Sounds for its impact on their music. From multi-platinum R&B producers like Troy Taylor, who said, "To every R&B, gospel, well-producer period, you need to get the Peculiar Sounds VST by my little bro Doobie Powell. Some nostalgic pads, bells, keys, and bass sounds. I promise you, you will be hooked." Or award-winning gospel producer Sean Keys, who says, "This joint is crazy. The sounds are truly inspirational from the start. I'm getting so many dope ideas just from playing these sounds. Doobie and gospel producers really knocked it out the park with this one." Or even the CEO of Shed Tracks, who told us, "This will change the way I produce music. This is a game changer for life. The sounds are incredible, and I'll definitely be using these sounds on my Shed Tracks." Since its inception, you've asked us for enhancements, and today we're taking it to the next level. And I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2. This is Peculiar Sounds V2. Now with standalone mode, so it can run independently from any DAW like Ableton, Studio One, Pro Tools, or Logic. Amazing layering capabilities. 2 brand new effects that we're going to delve into today, and a game-changing arpeggiator. Plus, V2 now includes our Sounds Off the Block expansion for totally free, bringing the total to over 400 patches, along with hundreds of chord, melody, and drum loop MIDI files. Peculiar Sounds V2 is more powerful than ever. So let's start with standalone mode. With this feature, you can use Peculiar Sounds V2 without any DAW. This gives you the flexibility to create and perform anywhere, anytime. It's perfect for live performances, on-the-go production, church services, weddings, funeral, any type of live performance. Peculiar Sounds V2 has got you covered. And to tell you more about it, today I'm bringing in my friend, my brother, Kel Bailey, an amazing content creator, to tell you more about it.
Today we're going to be checking out something special by Gospel Producers. They just released their new version of Peculiar Sounds version 2. Hey, and check this out. It is standalone as well. That is a huge improvement. But before we get too far into the plugin, we need to first pull it up. So let's check this out. When it actually loads up, check out this screen. It actually loads up like an actual keyboard. That's such a small, minute detail, but that just makes the product feel fresh, the way it loads up. I don't know, you know? So the goal of V2 is to actually feel like a workstation. It's supposed to feel like a keyboard. So instead of actually having a keyboard, if all you have is a MIDI board in Peculiar Sounds V2, this should be enough power and enough sauce to give you what you need on this gig. So if I'm playing on a church gig and I want to pull up keys and I want to pull up ballad piano, I got it all right here, you know? Fifth pad. That's deep right there. One of the unique things that I want to highlight in V2 that's different from V1 is the middle of the screen right here, right? So the middle of the screen, we have all of our sounds right here, but it's so much easier to find sounds in V2 because everything is right here on the screen. But I'm going to show you what I really like about V2 is if I pull up a keys patch right here and I select the keys patch, it tells me what the sound is that I'm playing right here. And everything is right here in the middle of the screen. I don't have to toggle through a lot of columns to find the sound that I'm looking for. I can just go up and down. Or if I want to switch the sound that I'm in, I can click on synth leads and it's all right there. So the new menu option and the way that you choose sounds is very, very important and it's cool, you know? So for the sake of it, since we're here, let's pull up version 1 of Peculiar Sounds and let's see what the differences are between V1 and V2, you know? So, I mean, automatically off the rip, you know, V2 looks better to me. You have a layer control over here that's different. You know, your envelopes, you have more access to your envelopes over here. You have layer 1 and you have layer 2. So V2 is just a complete upgrade from V1. Here's another feature that I really love about Peculiar Sounds V2. Check this out. So we have classic mode, right? Classic mode looks sleek. It looks really, really good. But check this out. Boom. We got dark mode as well. So dark mode, I mean, it doesn't change anything with the sound or anything, but just the look and the feel of it. Being able to have the option to choose between classic and dark mode really means a lot to me. What that tells me is they were thinking about the user experience. So if I want to work in dark mode, if I feel like I'm more inspired by dark mode, I can choose. You know, the power of choice is really important to me, you know? All right, so let's check out some of the sounds. This is my favorite part right here, the sounds. What do the sounds sound like? I pulled up a sound earlier when I was testing out this product. It's called Caribbean. Let's search it right here. So we got a nice little search bar right here. I typed in car and we see Caribbean Glide pops up. That's what I was looking for. This is the sound I played earlier, and this sound sounds so good, right? So let's check it out. That's a vibe right there. Game over. Game over. All right, so we have a layer control over here as well. When we click on layer right here, we see all of these sounds pop up. Again, making it super easy to find sounds. When I'm creating music, the last thing I want to do is have a confusing workflow and not be able to find the sounds that I'm looking for. Having this layer option right here makes it super, super easy to find sounds. So I can find sounds in the middle of the screen, up here, or I can come over to the layer control and figure out which sounds I want to toggle to. So you have layer 1, you can pick a pad on layer 1, and then on layer 2 we have a string pad selected. So if I want to combine 2 sounds together, I can do that. Let's see what air pad and string pad together sound like. Let's give it a little bit more volume. Hey, this is really, really crazy. One of the things that is really, really cool, as I mentioned at the top of the video, is V2 is standalone. So you guys that play in church and you guys that, do wedding gigs, if you want to have peculiar sounds on your wedding gig, or if you want to use it in church, it's standalone now. So what that means is you don't necessarily have to pull up Logic or Ableton or Studio One in order to use these sounds. That means you can just open up the application and use it like this. Here's another one of my favorite sounds right here. It's called Super Arp. Hey, that's crazy right there. When I tell you my productions are going to be so much better because of these sounds, you guys don't understand. Sounds like no other. Hey. Whoa. 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 And time. Whoa. Hey, I can mess around with this plugin all day long. Again, this is standalone. So if you want to use peculiar sounds of V2 on a gig, you can do that. So I want you guys to click the link below and check out Peculiar Sounds V2. You're going to be seeing me use this product a lot more on some of the courses I have coming up, and even on some of my gospel breakdown stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and checking this out. That's all we got for today. We are out.
We'll call this one G-Synth Mute. Saw.
Mild, soft.
Like saw brass. I'm gonna call this one Herbie Love because it sounds like a Herbie lead. Ground round. This is called ground round.
No, that's me, sorry.
Had the wow round.
The round,
Yeah.
round. But you
Yeah.
named after the restaurant though.
Yeah.
Why did it make you think about the restaurant?
Cause the round, and then
What they serve at Ground Round?
oh, they serve everything. A lot of people think layering is just mashing two sounds together and playing those two sounds at once.
Yeah.
But to make the layering thicker, I replay the same chords separately. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then what makes it unique is there might be a note that I didn't play in the rows that's in the pad, in the strings. They all playing pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because I'm actually playing each sound versus one at once.
Yeah. Instead of laying them together, you playing the same thing.
So I think in making the layers, there has to be some uniqueness to each sound if we're gonna do a layer that's playing all at the same time. So I just told y'all Doobie Powell's secret. That's what makes it seem like it's so much happening.
Yeah.
Because now I'm playing a chord over here that I'm playing over here, but I might have added 2 or 3 different other notes, which make it seem like something else is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you add something in the center that's playing the same thing, but it's like a slight difference. I keep driving it home with other layers. So if there was a way to do more than one layer on a, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On a patch versus just a rose and a pad.
Next, let's talk about layering. We worked hard on this feature and we thought deeply about its functionality. And it has now become the core where all the action is in V2. You can layer up to 2 sounds to create complex, rich textures. And we brought in Doobie to sample and create hundreds of new patches for V2 that we know that you're gonna be blown away by. Whether you're looking to blend subtle nuances or create entirely new sounds, the layering capabilities inside of V2 will transform your production process. And to tell you more about layering, I'm bringing in another one of my great friends and brothers, Daquan Bowens.
The most requested feature, and also my favorite feature, is the layering control. So we have the ability to layer 2 sounds. I have 2 keyboards set up. You can put both sounds on different keyboards, which is cool. You can split the sounds, and we'll get into that. But over here on the right, we have the on and off button. So for layer 1, I have a Rhodes, right? And you can adjust the sounds by clicking on that window, and you see all the sounds that are available, right? We have the volume, okay? And then for layer 2, we do the same thing. We have the on and off button, and then I have a pad, and I can adjust the volume as well. And I can also click the window and change the sound. So very straightforward, all from one window. So if I want to go more in depth with my layering and setting it up, I just hit the layer mixer right here. Yep. And on the top half, I have layer 1, all of the features and parameters for that. And the same thing is for layer 2 below. So over here on the left, we have the volume control. Okay. We have pan. Okay. We have the width. And then we have the effects send. Okay. And then we have the MIDI channel. We are on MIDI channel 1. We have the glide for the Rhodes. It's cool. And then we have the time. Nice. All right, we turn that off. We have the low pass filter. Let me turn off the strings, the pad. Then we have the high pass filter as well. We can adjust the polyphony. Nice. Then we have the legato. And then the split zone, we'll discuss that a little bit later. And then also we can adjust the sounds from this window as well. We have the transpose, bring it up 12 or 6, excuse me. Right. There we go. So in the button right here, we can turn off the layer as well. Very convenient. And then we have the same thing for the lower layer. You can adjust the low pass filter for the pad. That's nice. So I have 2 MIDI boards. You hear or you see that nothing is happening on my Novation. So my Novation is on MIDI channel 2. And what I can do is go down here to layer 2. I can change this to layer 2. And then now the Rhodes is on my Fesley keyboard. And then the pad is on my Novation. So with one keyboard, not one keyboard, but one VST, I can control 2 keyboards. That's nice. You know, for me, I like things to be simple. And if I can just have one plug-in that can control everything, I'm good. So that's nice. The independent control is really cool. Nice. We have the split zone, so I can have my low note to be at a certain place. All right, so my high note is C. Right here, let me bring it down to B. So what I want to do is make the Rhodes the lower octave, and then strings the higher octave. So now I set this up, right? Now my lower octave, I have the Rhodes. Then I have the strings on the higher octave. So that's cool. The layering section is very straightforward. So now let's do the arpeggio. So I want to change the sound. Actually, I'm going to keep it the way it is. So I'm going to turn up the volume for the pad. I'm going to go back to the MIDI channel. We're going to make it MIDI 1. So everything is on the same channel. And what we're going to do is arpeggiate the Rhodes. So I'm going to bring that cutoff for the low pass filter on the pad. Bring that down a little bit. It's too harsh for me. Now we're going to go down here to, I forgot to go over this section, but you know, all of these effects are independent for each layer. All right, so arpeggio, let's do this. So let's turn on arpeggio 1. Bring those up. So right now it's up. I like to do random. Bring that speed up. Maybe 3 or 4 octaves. Let it move around that. That low pass filter a little bit. That high pass. So all those low notes ain't in there. Want it to be color. All right. So now what I'm going to do is go to the sends. Now for layer 1, since that's my Rhodes, and I want that to be the color, all right? Or I want the effects to be on layer 1 only. So we're going to turn the mix up. Turn that sync button on. You hear that? So now I'm going to turn on the reverb for layer 1, and we're going to make this wet knob. We're just going to turn it hard right. I love reverb. Increase the size. Yeah, bring the octave down on my keyboard. Heavenly. Yeah, that layer feature, it's the goal.
Next, I want to talk about our arpeggiator. This is a new powerful tool that we've added that lets you create intricate, evolving patterns with ease, adding dynamic movement and complexity to any sound that you add it to. Whether you're crafting melodies, bass lines, or rhythmic textures, the arpeggiator will inspire you to elevate your music production. I recorded a special segment for you to highlight this game-changing new feature. Let's check it out. I have a patch that I really love that I want to show you guys that I love to use with it that we created. It's called Caribbean Glide. Really dope patch. But it's a really simple arpeggiator, nothing really crazy. So like, let's just show what the arpeggiator is doing. So if I come, and let's just gonna mute this layer right here, this pad layer, and we'll go back in here. So you can change the speed of it. Of course, I wanted to go faster. Really crazy, right? Or just maybe something simple. You know what I'm saying? Or we can change the octaves that it moves across. We can change the direction, maybe up, down. Or even like chords. You know what I'm saying? So that allows you to kind of play it polyphonically. Right? But what I really love is like the shuffle feature. So if I turn it all the way down, then you just got a straight kind of thing. But if I shuffle it, I think that's really cool and one of my favorite features of the arpeggiator. Then you can also use like latch or whatever to turn it on, so you get like, you can play it, you know, and it'll work without you having to actually hold down the key, which is a really dope feature. Now that you know that Peculiar Sounds is standalone and you can layer in it, now we want to bring it a little bit closer to home. I brought in my friend Sheridan Williams in order to show you how you can use Peculiar Sounds V2 at our favorite place here at Gospel Producers, the church.
This joint is crazy. You hear me? This joint is crazy. Has some crazy sounds. I mean, yeah, the guys at Gospel Producers put in their best work. Shout out to them. I mean, yeah, again, some of the stuff that we've been asking for, they've added. I mean, if you look at the screen, they have layer 1 and layer 2. You can select your layer control right here, which sound you want on which one. I have the one pad on the bottom one, and I have the funk pad on the top one. So we're going to listen to how that sounds here in a minute. And then you can go to your layer mixer, the layer mixer. And you can adjust the glide. You can adjust, look at all those parameters. I'm not going to go through all those parameters because I want you to get this plug-in so that you can check it out yourself. This is crazy. You can transpose. Now, I mean, you know, some of y'all transpose, we've had that whole argument online. I mean, you do what you do. You don't what you don't. It is what it is. I'm not here to have that argument. But just imagine if you want to play a fifth. So then you transpose one of the layers to play your fifth for you, so that you can make some crazy sounds. We're going to do a deep dive, not on this video, but we're going to do a deep dive into this plugin so that I can show you guys the capability of this joint. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so I have the Nord on layer 1, the system made on layer 2. So you go in your settings and you find MIDI channel 2, put it on one keyboard, MIDI channel 1, put it on the other keyboard that you want to be dominant. I normally do MIDI channel 1 on the bottom, MIDI channel 2 on the top, just so that I could have either key bass, lead, or some sort of sound that I'm not going to be consistently playing if I have a consistent sound on layer 1. And they make it easy over at Gospel Producers. So I'll go back to the beginning page. We'll close this. We'll hit Layer Mixer. Layer Mixer is where you're going to make all your adjustments to each of your layers individually. Okay. So what we're going to do here is on this MIDI channel for layer 2, I'm going to change that to MIDI channel 2. Now you can do anything 1 through 16. You can make it a double 1 and just have a layer on just one keyboard. That's crazy. That ain't what we here for. You know, we like to make things complicated. We like to dig in and do, you know, just a little bit more. So we got channel 1 on layer 1. We have channel 2 on layer 2. Channel 2, channel 1. All right. So I have a pad here and another pad here. Now, the thing about this pad is it can kind of double as a lead, right? But I'm going to put a little glide on this pad, as this pad is a little bit more present and it bites a little bit more. So we're going to turn that glide on right here. That's where you turn the glide on. All right. Almost got lost in that. I mean, I'm just saying that glide is crazy. But you see how I was playing this, and this was uninterrupted. Now, to my defense, I think it's important to note that for each keyboard, I do have them on separate sustain. So I have a sustain pedal plugged into this keyboard. I have a sustain pedal that's separate plugged into this keyboard. So it's going to function differently. It's going to function separately. It's not going to be the same thing. But you can do a lot of crazy stuff with this plugin.
Next in Peculiar Sounds, I want to talk about effects. We added in 2 brand new innovative effects, the Lo-Fizer and the Mod Filter. These tools will meet the needs of the most creative of producers, especially those in the lo-fi community. The Lo-Fizer helps you to create instant lo-fi vibes with the touch of a button and the turn of a knob. We even added in that very special record noise that everybody knows and loves. And the Mod Filter is a very special filter freak that will add movement and flow to any sound you add it to. These effects give you more control and creativity in shaping your sound. And to tell you a little bit more about these new effects, I'm bringing in the Lo-Fi King, one of my friends and my brothers from out in Cali by way of Sacramento, Marcus Murray.
The thing I really wanted to highlight is Lo-Fizer. Check it out here. We're in layer 2. We're going to click the layer mix here, and then we're going to go down to layer 2. Right, which is just a piano. Let me go out for a second, solo that. So it's just a piano. So it's a cool piano, very dry, and just, you know, we want to dirty this up. It's very clean. And if we're doing something more lo-fi, we're gonna want to dirty it up. So let's go back to the layer 2 effects. All right, so we're gonna want to click here on the master effects, and then boom. So I want you to check out this this lo-fi button here. It's really gonna give it some vintage sound. Take off some of the high pass, really accentuate the lows, and then if you wanted to thin it out even more, you could thin it out. You could really thin it out. I do like it more on the warm side. So I like that feature. And then you could also add this is to me the dopest feature, and the best way to dirty it up is with vinyl. You can really manipulate the intensity, you know, turn it up. You know, as much as you want, and it sustains. It sustains with your chords or with your sustain pedal. So another effect that I really like, especially when you're looking for some simple expression, which is a lot of times what you're going for when you're doing lo-fi production. So you already got the world famous mellow glide pad that I use under all my joints, right? So the glide is there, that adds some character. But what I also like is this new filter mod. Now we could turn this joint up. You see what I'm saying? You can really add that side chain effect, which I think is something that's underrated, is the side chain or the pump effect. This is instant vibes. You can change the speed. You can change the speed, you know what I mean? So, I mean, the vibe possibilities are really endless with this plugin, which is why I really love the additions that were made. So that was just a little bit of the Lo-Fizer, a new feature in Peculiar Sounds VST Volume 2. It's perfect for folks that really are into, you know, dirtying up their sound, creating that vintage sound. So shout out to the team for really adding these features in this VST. It's really going to be a one-stop shop for anybody that loves to do lo-fi or just kind of boom bap styles of production. So peace, man.
Thanks, Mark, for that amazing demo. As you can see, the Lo-Fizer and Mod Filter are truly game-changing new effects that we've added. But now I want to delve a little deeper into the Mod Filter. So I prepared a special segment for you that will really highlight its full capabilities. Let's check it out. So this patch is called Funky Shaka. I really love it. Woo! 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 So let me show you what's going on under the hood. So we go back into the layer mixer here, go to mod effects. Look at that, look at filter mod work. So it's literally a filter effect. So I can change how fast I want it. Maybe I want it slower. Of course, it syncs to the BPM, right? Or maybe we want for it to be like kind of this. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe we want it to affect a lower frequency. Maybe we want more dramatic. Yeah. That is so crazy to me. Maybe you want to try a different kind of pass, like maybe like a low pass, right? Instead of it going down and cutting off all the highs, let's make it do the opposite and cut low. Nuts, bro. That's so crazy. But you can also do like something like maybe a band pass or what have you, or like a knot, or like something like a band pass or something like that, or a notch. It can get as crazy as you want for it to get. I really love this effect, and I think it's my favorite effect in Peculiar Sounds now. I be trying to put it on everything now, you know what I'm saying? So I really like the high pass, of course, but you can also use it to try different shapes. Like instead of a sign, that's what this sounds like. I can go triangle. You know what I'm saying? A little bit subtle, more subtle, right? Or we can go with a saw, right? Or we can even go really crazy and go with like a square, right? Super crazy. And of course, all of these features are fully automatable inside of your DAW, and you can really get crazy with the filter mod and automation and being able to make all of these things move and go into trying different crazy effects and switching up. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with the filter mod. It's one of my favorite effects inside of V2. So in this section, I want to talk about one of our best new features, which is the MIDI browser, boys and girls. So if I click here on MIDI browser, it pulls up our MIDI player, and you'll find in here hundreds of drum grooves and chord progressions and stuff played by Doobie, glide chords, all kind of stuff. If you buy Peculiar Sounds version 2, you get with it our Gospel Keys Vibes pack, you get our Doobie Pow pack, you also get our Peculiar Sounds chords pack, all included, and a bunch more that's going to be really, really dope. So that all comes free with Peculiar Sounds. We're going to be adding ton more MIDI files to this, because this is just something that nobody's really doing with these type of plugins. Imagine having Omnisphere and being able to get MIDI files with Omnisphere built into it. They don't have it, but we have it in ours. So here you have it, being able to do this. So it's really, really cool. So in the MIDI browser, it's set up pretty simple. You hit the play button. And it'll just loop, you know, around, and you can click on any other groove or vibe. Like if I click on this, and then I can click on another one, and it'll start playing that. And as you can see, there's a lot of information. You get the BPM, you get the time signature, you get the number of bars, the key, what it kind of set up for, chords, melody, whatever the case may be that it kind of covers, drums. It's all laid out for you intuitively. But you can also search the MIDI browser just by typing in like anything. Like say if I want Doobie, if I start typing in Doobie, I start getting all the Doobie vibes. Maybe I want something R and B. Then it gives me something R&B, and I can just literally click on like this 90s R&B vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. Or maybe I want to search something specific in any of the rows, maybe like a BPM, like 90. And it'll pull up anything that is 90 BPM or has 90s in the name, or maybe a specific key like E flat. You know what I'm saying? Now I get everything that's in E flat. You know what I mean? Or if I want to search something that could be used with a glide pad, then I type in glide. So anything that is glide tagged can be used and can be searched and found in that way. So another dope feature of the MIDI browser is being able to change the octave or the key of a MIDI file. So for instance, if I play this one, say I want to bring this down an octave, I can literally just click this. Or I can bring it up an octave. All options. Or if I want to change the key, or bring it down low. So because it's MIDI and because it's that, I can put it in any key that I want. If I want to go back to the original key, I just double click and it goes back to original. So I think that's super duper dope. And that's a great feature of the MIDI browser. Last but not least is probably the most important function of the MIDI browser, and that is drag and drop MIDI. So if you go up here into the transport area and you just click and grab this MIDI file, you can easily drag it straight into your DAW for more editing and tweaking inside of the piano roll and being able to manipulate it in more detail. So that, boys and girls, is the MIDI browser, one of the best features inside of Peculiar Sounds V2. And to give you a good taste of what can be done with the MIDI browser, I brought in another one of my friends, none other than Brian Williams, to show you how you can create a vibe using Peculiar Sounds and just the MIDI browser.
We're gonna take a look at Peculiar Sounds V2 and we're just gonna get right to it. Basically, I go to this MIDI browser page and you have MIDI grooves. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out a groove and go from there. Pat, I like that. What's this AirPad doing? I like those chords. Let's see about it. That's what we want. Yep, they got bass grooves, of course. So let's see what we're like. Yeah, I don't need all that. Oh, that's automatic. Oh my God. Okay, okay, give me another instance of drums here. I'm gonna duplicate that. I'm gonna add something else. Dark mode. Thank you. Can just make a song off of these MIDI grooves. That was wild. Let me quantize that, if I may. Get a bell in there. I said I was gonna do 5. I said I was gonna do only 5, but this joint is sneaking up on me real bad. Done deal. Like, oh man, I love it. This is, can't beat it, man. Like,
So let's recap everything that we've talked about today. Peculiar Sounds V2 is an absolute game changer, as you can see. We've introduced standalone mode, allowing you to use it independently from any DAW. making it the perfect companion for live performances at church, weddings, or any gig. We've enhanced the layering capabilities, making it the core feature of V2. You can now blend up to 2 sounds to create rich and complex textures. We added in 2 brand new effects, the Lo-Fizer and the Mod Filter. The Lo-Fizer gives you instant lo-fi vibes with just a button, while the Mod Filter adds dynamic movement and flow to any sound you apply it to. Peculiar Sounds is designed to meet the needs of even the most creative producers. And we also added the innovative new MIDI browser that provides you with hundreds of chord progressions, melodies, and drum loop MIDI files that you can drag straight into your DAW to kickstart your creativity and streamline your workflow. And as a bonus, V2 now includes Sounds Off the Block expansion for totally free, bringing the total to over 400 patches. And now for the moment that you've all been waiting for, the price. If you are a V1 user, you can upgrade to V2 today for just $99. And for new customers, we have a special launch offer that you can get it now today for only $199, and that is till July the 4th. And here's something even more dope. If you bought Peculiar Sounds in the last 14 days, and you're like, man, I just bought this thing the other day, and now they dropped V2. Well, guess what? We're gonna give you a very special limited time deal where you can upgrade to V2 for only $49. So make sure you check the website right now and you can get your hands on this game-changing plugin. So as you can see, Peculiar Sounds V2 is not just an update. It's a revolutionary new plugin. And it's made to take your sound design and music production to a whole new level. With standalone mode, the advanced layering, new effects, a comprehensive MIDI browser, and over 400 patches, this is the best plugin that we've ever created. And I appreciate you guys for hanging out today. And we're gonna talk to you guys on the next one. I'm out. Holla at your boy.